Hello friends, welcome back to Diary of Fiction, and welcome to 2025, a new year. Happy New Year, happy holidays. I hope you got some rest and lots of yummy food. So in today's video, we're doing a little bit of a book haul. I'm gonna show you the books that I got this Christmas, which I'm so excited to show you. I also really want to apologize for not posting any videos in December. Basically, I had promised y'all that I was gonna pre-film a bunch of videos, and that ended up not happening. I just ran out of time and I couldn't get them done on time, and I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry, but we're starting 2025 stronger than ever and with all the positive motivation that comes with the beginning of a new year and new videos to come, because I want to do my favorite reads of 2024, going over all the books that I read in 2024. All those little videos are coming soon, so stay tuned. But right now we're gonna do the little book haul, so let's get started. My partner gave me the most thoughtful gift ever, where he wrapped up a bunch of books, drew on them, and added a quote from either a TV show, movie, or book, and had me guess where the quote was from. The quote has something to do with the book that was inside as well, and I had to guess in order to open out the gift and see which book was inside, and it was the most amazing, wonderful gift I've ever received, and I cried a lot while opening this gift, and I'm really excited to show them to you all. Because of having new books and running out of space on my shelves, I've also reorganized my shelves, and now they're looking a little bit different, but I'm planning on doing a bookshelf tour soon, so let me know if you would like to see that. I now have like adult fantasy books on here. You'll see. You might get a little bit spoiled for the books that I'm going to be showing you, but it's okay. Let's start with the first one, which is Vengeful by Schwab. I am so excited to have this. I've been meaning to get my hands on it ever since I finished Vicious, and it left me like... The experience of reading this first book was amazing. The concept, the writing style, the setting. Reading this in the fall was the perfect time to read it, and I had such a wonderful time. Also, loads of annotating, and I loved it so much that I wanted to get the second book, but obviously I wanted it to match my UK edition of the first book. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? I know that this one has like some blurbs, and it's like a little bit different than this first book, but still. This is beautiful. I love it so much. It makes me so happy, and I cannot wait to read this. I feel like this one is actually going to focus on some of the characters that I was most interested in this first book, because while I did love Vicious a lot, I couldn't emotionally connect as much with the two main characters, but there were other characters that I did connect with that I hope we can follow in this second book, but I have no idea what it is going to be about. I know that this was supposed to be a standalone, I'm pretty sure, and then the sequel came out years later, I'm pretty sure, and I think Schwab is actually writing a third book. I don't know if there's going to be more or not, but I believe I saw a post on Instagram from her like writing these characters again, and I didn't see more because I didn't want to spoil myself, but the fact that we're getting more books is so exciting. I do think that I'm gonna like the second book a lot, so excited to have this. Okay, this one my partner didn't give to me. This one was actually my parents, and it made me so happy. The Burning God. The Burning God by Kuang. I can't even talk thinking about this trilogy. First of all, this cover, the way the books look together, let me just take them out. Like, having this trilogy completed is everything to me, and especially this color I love very much. But anyway, the book series. This book is the third and final book in the Poppy Word trilogy. If you haven't seen my last vlog, please go watch it. I put a lot of effort into that. I read book series that I'm in the middle of, and one of them is the Poppy Word. I read The Burning God, which is book 2, and absolutely destroyed me to the point where I haven't read anything since I last read that. Like, I actually haven't read a single book since that book. It just consumed my life. These books are so impressive. I'll talk more about them, I guess, in my favorite books of 2024. That's a little bit of a spoiler, but I will be talking more about them then. I was looking forward to getting this third book. I'm also really terrified to read it. I just know from my experience reading other R.F. Kuang novels that this one's not gonna be easy, and it's probably gonna tear my heart apart, and I will be crying. Also, the dedication in this book, like, I did read it. Let me just read it for you. It literally says, To my dear readers who stayed with the series until the end and came prepared with a bucket for their tears. I am not ready, but at the same time, I really want to read this. So this is probably going to be like maybe like the third book that I read this year. Like I'm letting myself read other books that are a little bit more lighthearted, and then I'll come back to this series and see where that takes us. The next book that my partner got for me, it's actually a box set, and this is a box set that I've been meaning to get for the longest time. And when I saw this is where I cried, because I have been meaning to read this series for a long time. Like I said, I just said that twice, sorry. But specifically these editions of the books are the editions that I've always wanted. I started reading this first book, the first book in this trilogy, a while ago, but I had it in the mass paperback edition, and I ended up deciding to give it away because I didn't like the format of it, which is really picky of me, I know, but I was waiting to get myself these other editions to continue on with the series because I actually really enjoyed them, and I still remember it to this day, even though I read it ages ago, which is crazy because sometimes you read a book and then you forget about it. But for this one in particular, the writing style felt so vivid for me that I still remember like certain scenes and chapters that I read. So I'm gonna cry again. Is the Mistborn trilogy by Brandon Sanderson. This to me is literally a dream come true. The fact that I have this, obviously I haven't read this yet, and I'm like kind of like reacting to it as if I have already read it. I am pretty sure that I'm gonna love this series, especially because, you know, the idea of getting lost in a fantasy series and escaping from reality, but also being immersed in a new world with new characters and just it taking over your life. The whole idea of that just makes me so excited. You have no idea how much I want more. Like that's why this whole entire shelf is gonna be fantasy books, because I just want a new series to obsess over, and I feel like this is gonna be one of those. Like I just have a great feeling. So many people love this series, so I just can't go wrong with it. And I also know that this is the most recommended series to start reading Brandon Sanderson. I know he has a lot of other books in this universe. Actually, I'm not very knowledgeable of the other books in the universe because I don't want to get too overwhelmed, so I only know about these three right here. Let me take it out of the box set, which is the hardest thing to do, and I'll show you book by book. I'm so excited. What do you guys usually do with box sets? Do you keep the box? Do you throw it away? What do you do? Okay, we have we have Mistborn. Look at that. Look at how beautiful and shiny and perfect this is. I love this. I love this so much. And then we have The Well of Ascension. This is book 2, right? Yes, that's book 2. Trying not to look at the back. I don't want to get spoiled. I'm like, beautiful cover as well. And then last but not least, we have, if I can take it out, The Hero. That's really bad. The Hero of Ages. This is happiness right here. Now, I really hope that I love this series, or else I'm gonna laugh at myself in the future for getting this excited, but I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna love this. The fact that they're so big too, like I love that because that means more time with the characters, so much world building. I've heard great things. Obviously, I have already read half of Mistborn, so I do have an idea of what it is about. And I do love the fact that we are set in a world where actually the bad people have won. And I guess we're following like, yeah, an uprising. What if the prophesied hero had failed to defeat the Dark Lord? The answer will be found in the Mistborn trilogy. Like, that is so insanely good. Like, the fact that the bad guy won and now we follow the aftermath of that. Like, that concept, genius. I'm really curious to see how he wrote this and where he takes the story towards, you know? Also, the two main characters, they sound wonderful. I have no idea when I'm gonna start the series. I hope that after I finish the Poppy War trilogy, but I also have like, this is so hard to pull back, Jade Study, which this I got a while ago. This is not like, I guess it could be part of this book haul, but I actually have had this for a long time. And I only have the first book, but it's also another adult fantasy series that I want to start and I've been meaning to start. So I don't know if I would start with this one or Mistborn or both. Okay, book reader math is I finished The Vicious Duology and I finished the Poppy Word Trilogy, and I could start Jade City and I could start Mistborn. That way it's kind of like I finished 2 series, I can start 2 series. Okay, so the next 2 books are actually 2 books in Spanish. I'm really excited because I want to read more books in Spanish. One of them is Jane Eyre by Brontë. I've shown this book multiple times because I've had this other edition in English, but the fact that I have both editions, both in English and Spanish, is really special. Again, I haven't read this book yet, so it's kind of silly of me to get 2 editions, but I have like this feeling inside of me that I'm really gonna love this book and I just need to read it. I just need to read it. Like, I just know this is gonna be one of my favorite classics, all-time favorite classics, or maybe one of my favorite books ever. Something inside of me is telling me that I'm gonna really love this. I also really love the illustration on this. It's really pretty, and I want to start collecting more Penguin Classics editions. These already look very cute together, so I love that. Even if they're the same book, it still counts. We have this other one. I don't think this is translated to English yet, but this one is a dark fantasy book with magic that is set in London in 1895, and I have no idea what it is about. Sounds like a little bit like dark academia mixed with magic, and I'm really excited to read this. Heard great things about this author. I don't think her books have been translated to English, but hopefully in the future they will be. And the last book that he got for me is actually Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. This is a book that is very, honestly, maybe a little bit unlike me for me to read, but it also caught my attention because a lot of people describe this as Gossip Girl set in London, and if you've been watching my videos, you've probably heard me talk about my partner and I rewatching Gossip Girl from the very beginning. And Gossip Girl is just a show that I've seen so many times at this point, but just recently I watched from the very beginning. And once we finished the show, we were like, what do we do now? What do we watch? And I feel like this series might maybe fill that little hole in my heart at the moment that's missing watching Gossip Girl again. I want to see what I think about this. It's definitely very outside of my comfort zone. It's definitely not something that I would have thought I would have picked up, but I've heard such amazing things about it as well, especially the last book, which I think it's called Magnolia Parks Into the Dark. I've heard great things about it, and I kind of have a little bit of FOMO, and I want to know what everyone is talking about. I want to see the character development, I guess, that maybe happens in this book. I'm just really intrigued and really curious. I feel like this is gonna be like a little bit of a guilty pleasure, but also like it's fine. But I do know that my expectations are that this is gonna be like Gossip Girl set in London and that we're following a toxic relationship. I do know that, so I guess we'll see how I feel about it. I'm a little nervous, but also craving something that feels like is very much like a light, entertaining read with not much to think about, just like to enjoy and have fun. So Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. Alright, and then we have The Wolf and the Woodsman by Reid. This was another very unexpected Christmas gift, and I was so excited, almost cried again when I opened it up because I was like, how do they know? Like, this is the debut novel by Reid, who I've talked about a lot on my channel. I feel like at this point I'm sounding a little bit repetitive, but I do really love her writing style and I want to see what this one's about. Her books I feel like don't have the best reviews on Goodreads. They are not always well loved, but I want to obviously formulate my own opinion. I feel like her writing style is what basically makes me gravitate towards her books. In this one, all I know, to be honest, is that, well, first of all, my friend recommended this one to me a long time ago. She told me that she really enjoyed it. I know that we follow like our one girl in this village who doesn't have any powers, and every so many years the king chooses someone to sacrifice. This year the whole village turns against her for some reason, and they betray her and turn her in because she doesn't have any powers. She gets basically taken to the king, but on their way there they get attacked, and it's only her and the prince who survive, and I think her and the prince are actually going to join forces against the king. It honestly sounds very interesting. It's like a standalone adult fantasy novel, but I'm really excited and very grateful to have her debut novel and slowly grow in my collection of Reid books, because I think she is wonderful at storytelling and also building a very evocative atmosphere that truly immerses you into the story, where you'll get truly lost in the world she creates. I love also the fact that they're standalone novels, so you don't have to commit to a long series. So The Wolf and the Woodsman by Reid. And those were all the books that I got this Christmas, but I did film a little book haul when it was Black Friday. So that was a while ago, where I got 3 new books. One of them you've already seen in another video, but I'm still gonna show you this clip because this clip was supposed to be part of a vlog that I was supposed to film. And I didn't. So just so that that clip doesn't go to waste, I'm gonna take you back and show you. I think I also mentioned that we were gonna read one of those books. Of course we're not, because that vlog didn't happen. So I wanted to start this vlog by showing you a couple of books that I got recently. I wanted to treat myself to one specific book. We're hitting 1,000 subscribers, which again, thank you so much for literally making my dreams come true. And when I got to the bookstore, they had a sign that said buy 2 get 1 for free. So naturally, I had no other choice, you know, than to get myself 3 books in total, but actually I ended up having some gift cards, so it was technically a gift. This first book that I wanted to treat myself with, it's a book that I've been meaning to have as part of my collection for a long time now, because I read this book through the library a couple of months ago and I loved it so much. I've mentioned it in my videos way too many times at this point. I just had to have it back here, you know? I just had to have it with me, and it is the special edition of A Study in Drowning by Reid. I love it so much. Look at the spines. This is like a dream. It's a dream. It's like everything you want. Like, this cover just gives the ultimate dark academia, gothic, dark vibes that I love so much. I love this cover. It just like represents me. Like, I could recreate this cover. But inside, look at this. Isn't that so pretty? I feel like old books should be like this underneath, don't you think? If they were like this, I would actually buy more hardcovers. I'm not a huge fan of hardcovers, but this is my exception. This is my exception. I'm so in love with it. I'm so in love with it. I love this book so much, and I can't wait to actually reread it now. And maybe underline quotes, but I'm not really sure if I want to underline quotes here. That's the only thing about special editions. I think this is like my second ever special edition. I don't really collect them, but because I had already read the book, it was like the perfect opportunity to actually get the special edition. I feel like I'm never on time. Like, I read books, but I'm never on time. So when they're releasing a special edition, it's like I haven't even read the book, so you know. So this is like the first time that I actually get to feel like it's like a reward. I read it through the library. I loved it so much, so now I get to give myself the special edition. But the only thing is, I don't know if I want to ruin it and underline quote. When I read it, I had the physical book from the library, so I had to take pictures of my favorite quotes, but now I can actually physically annotate them, but definitely no sticky tabs because that would ruin this. The second book that I got is the second book in a series that I started reading, I think this year, earlier this year, and I watched the TV show for this in my first vlog on this channel, and that is Good Girl Bad Blood by Holly Jackson. I'm really excited. I feel like I had been stubborn for a really long time and just telling myself I'm just gonna read this through the library. Well, the wait time was really long for this book, and then sometimes I would get it at the wrong time, like when I wasn't in the mood to read it. But when I saw the physical book, I was like, kind of want to read this as a physical book and actually collect the entire series, because I really did love book 1 and I've heard great things about the rest of the series. And also, it's like the type of book that comes with like not necessarily illustrations, but they give clues to the case. So you see like pieces of paper, and let me try to find one. Or like this one, for instance. I try not to spoil it for you, but I don't think that says much without context. But yeah, so like it just has pictures that I feel like are a lot more, it's just a better experience to read it as a physical book. So I'm excited to read this one and continue on with the trilogy. And then the third book that I got, which is kind of like a random pick. It was like, I don't know which third book I want, but I've been feeling like I wanted something fun to add to my physical TBR, because a lot of the books that I have, they're a little too serious sometimes. Like, I just wanted something more fun, like a fun romantasy. So that's what I was aiming for. I couldn't decide which one I wanted out of all the ones that they had, and I was also terrified of picking one up that I wasn't going to like. But ultimately, like last minute, I just grabbed this one and I was like, I'm walking to the cashier, like let's go. So Throne of the Fallen by Kerri Maniscalco. Honestly, this has the prettiest cover ever. It also has like texture on it, and the sprayed edges are giving like Olivia Rodrigo. Love it so much. I have no idea what this book is about, other than I know that there's a previous series. It is a young adult series called Kingdom of the Wicked, I believe, that follows either the same characters or is in the same world, but I'm pretty sure you can read this one without reading that one. Pretty sure. Hopefully, yes. And that's all I know. I haven't read that trilogy, and that's basically all I know. But what I read from the back, keywords that I found on the back that actually worked with me was prince, dark supernatural world, mysterious artist with secrets of her own, fallen in love. Because honestly, I've been craving supernatural books. Like I kind of want to go back to that era of paranormal romance. Like Hush Hush and all those books. I didn't actually get to read them. They always intrigued me, but I never picked them up. I don't know why. So I never had my own paranormal era. So I kind of want to read them now, but I know that I'll just find them really cringe. So I'm trying to find like books that I might actually like that also have like supernatural elements, and this one appears to have vampires. I have no idea, but I just want to jump into this book without knowing what it is about. It sounds really intriguing and like a whole new experience for me. I've been reading a lot of like romantasy, young adult romantasies. Like they're now considered romantasies, but back then they were just young adult novels with romance in them, and I really want to dive deeper into the romantasy adult genre and just have some fun reading these books, you know? Alright, so that is all for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed this little book haul. Like I said, my next video will be my 2024 favorite books, so thank you so much for being here and for watching. If you finished watching all the way to this point, leave me this emoji. Again, happy new year, happy start of 2025, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!